Hello viewers, in this series of videos we will go over different topics regarding careers after Euroculture. This information will be presented by alumni and other experts, filmed during and after the famous Euroculture Intensive Program week. We hope you enjoyed the videos and let's start!
I would say you should think about the biggest research project you've ever done. It doesn't matter if it's a bachelor thesis or a master thesis or something that is not even a university thesis, but a project you did for your job, for example. If you really liked it and you enjoyed the pain and you engage with it and you were up at night thinking about it, and then you were like, oh no, I will do it this other way. Oh no, I can't do it this other way. Oh my God, the data doesn't make sense. If this didn't drive you crazy, you can do a PhD. It doesn't mean that you will be successful. It doesn't mean that you will love it. You might decide that it's not worth it, but you need to like research life. And if you don't like this kind of work, because it's not an exam. It's not like cramming for an exam or getting good grades. Is you have a project that's your baby, and as a mother or a father, you have to bring that project to reality. And it's very much your own private project, so you really need to know that you will not hate doing it, even if it can be difficult or it can be frustrating, but the deep down this is something that you more or less enjoy doing, I would say.
You should be really aware that doing a PhD is mainly doing research. And doing research means that you spend a lot of time alone. So you need to be really aware that doing research is not having a lot of exchanges with other people. It's you working with yourself, almost all the time. So if you don't like to be alone or to work a lot of time sitting in the archives. In my case, it was a PhD in history, so I was a lot of time in the archives in Florence as well. Then I would not consider doing a PhD because, you should be really aware of this.
Thank you for bringing up this question, and there are two answers from my side. One short answer, another bit longer answer. The short one is probably I didn't want to be rich, so I did want to be mobile and at least in a position of sustaining myself well, but not also just stinking rich in that sense. So I knew that this doesn't work. The other thing is, there are so many different national regulations about being able to survive properly and barely keeping the ends meet. It's not to apply for a German university system, because I've been studying in Germany long enough. So I did my previous study also in Göttingen and did Euroculture. I really liked living there, so I also went back for my fourth semester, finished my thesis. But I was absolutely sure that I don't want to be as a PhD candidate at a German university, because the contract is like a student contract. So you're a PhD student and your contract is with the supervisor, which allows you to work, but at the same time you have to look for your own funding from different, either through university or through other institutions. Whereas in certain other countries, for example in the Netherlands, where I was very conscious in terms of while applying, that I'm going to enter into an employment contract. This is a job where I pay around 30% of taxes, I pay social benefits, etc., which would then allow me to get some benefits, unemployment benefits afterwards and so on. I was absolutely sure that I'm not going to enter a PhD program or academic tenure for 4 years where that's not going to pay me enough amount to survive. I was very conscious about that. And the other story was the legal position of a scholar. That's where I felt really vulnerable in many countries where I wanted to do, but I didn't apply. In Germany, in most of the cases, the PhD project has a contract with the supervisor. If the supervisor thinks that, okay, he or she, most of the cases it's he, often true, wants to go somewhere, wants to terminate the project, the student, the PhD student, has no opinion. Really don't have much legal support kind of legal justification of continuing, etc. Whereas in certain countries, when one wants to continue with the project or has the contract, it's my project, I own the project, I am in a contractual obligation with the Dutch government, represented by this Dutch university. So the supervisor, or Dr. Fatra in my case, doesn't have anything to say in this. So I am in an independent financial position in terms of my the autonomy of the project, and at the same time, in terms of paying taxes, social benefits, and blah, blah, blah. So, well, there are vulnerabilities, but there are ways to be aware of these things way in advance and choose one's path. I mean, this is not a path of path with rose petals and so on. I mean, it's extremely vulnerable, extremely competitive, and very poor. But at the same time, there are ways of dealing with it and ways of negotiating with what I want and what I really want to do and what kind of contract or job position I want.